With 1.9 billion drinks per day, Coca-Cola is the largest soft drink maker in the world. However, not everybody is as charmed by the mystical and magical vibe Coca-Cola seems to have. In today's episode, we have invited Coca-Cola experts to explain more about the billion-dollar company on different kinds of topics such as economics, organizational behavior, investigative abilities, and business on ethics. Welcome, this is NHTV Late Night.
Coca-Cola, often referred to as Coke, is an American soft drink company. It was introduced in May 1886, originally intended as a patent medicine, the original inventor being John Pemberton. The name Coca-Cola originates from the fact that beforehand there used to be cocaine in the drink, which was added for the pep-up effect that it has to this day, but without the actual drug. The recipe Coca-Cola uses for their drinks is to this date still confidential to only a few people worldwide, who contractually are not allowed to drive, fly, or actually in general travel together just in case something were to happen.
So, we are here with the first expert on the topic of I&A. I would really like to know, how did you came up with the ideas generated and how did you approach your research?
Well, first of all, we started our research with a brainstorm session about the different aspects regarding the total organization. We sat together and started writing the first things that came to our mind. All these thoughts were of course related to the different topics of research. During the process, we did desk research, as we use secondary research, which means that we use materials that were already there in articles, cases online, the internet in general, so websites, and other statistics. We did qualitative research when examining the Coca-Cola company, as we looked for in-depth information and wanted to gain a deep understanding of the company Coca-Cola for all the topics.
That was a very clear answer, thank you. Then I would like to know some more about the motivation of employees in the company of Coca-Cola. So how does Coca-Cola motivate their employees?
Well, Coca-Cola is implementing a combination of Theory Y and Theory X when talking about the organizational behavior. Theory X is implemented by focusing on rewards. Coca-Cola is rewarding non-monetary and monetary. With these rewards you can think about, for example, commissions, bonuses and vouchers for vacations. Coca-Cola needs to implement rewards for their employees, otherwise such a big company will not survive. Next to this, Theory Y is also partly implemented since Coca-Cola provides occupational stress workshops. This is to reduce their amount of stressed out employees. These two theories are used to motivate staff in the operations of Coca-Cola.
Okay, well, how nice that they have vouchers for their employees. I didn't know that at Coca-Cola. What I also would like to know is, how does Coca-Cola make sure they produce such mass products in the most effective way?
Well, Coca-Cola uses the mechanized assembly line in most of their processes. This is an invention of Henry Ford, so a distinctive feature of Fordism. It means that the production is split up in different small and easy parts. And it is mechanized, which means that it is automatic. What Coca-Cola does is that they make sure that there are also human supervisors at the assembly line. This is to make sure that the machines stay as effective as possible. Coca-Cola could not exist without this invention of Henry Ford.
Indeed, that seems a very effective way of working with the assembly line of Henry Ford. How big is the power distance actually in Coca-Cola companies worldwide?
Well, yes, Coca-Cola uses rather high power distance. There are multiple layers of management and work is to be seen in the company. The influence of all these layers is very different. This means that Coca-Cola has quite a significant power distance. This is needed as the company is such a world leader in the beverage market. If the distance of power would not be as clear as it is with Coca-Cola, the company would have troubles with operating. The high power distance makes sure that all the tasks and responsibilities of the workers are clear and the company can operate effectively.
Well, thank you very much with the information you provided us with. It was yet again very clear. What I would also like to know from the next expert, when researching just how sustainable a company really is, there needs to be a thorough investigation as there's many different elements that play a role in being sustainable, right?
Yeah, we discovered that Coca-Cola is indeed heavily sustainable and it is on a constant improving route to becoming more and more sustainable every day. Some examples being the bottles and the cans. Did you for instance know that Coca-Cola bottles were made out of 34% of recycled materials? Furthermore, in 2009 Coca-Cola introduced the plant bottle packaging, which replaces most of the traditional fossil-based ingredients used to make the PET plastic. In 2011, the plant bottle even became the first ever fully recyclable bottle made out of plastic and partially from plants. Another thing Coca-Cola is doing is incorporating lighter packaging, which is made out of reusable resources and tries to stimulate its customers to start sorting rubbish, which makes recycling more efficiently. Lastly, Coca-Cola has also started replacing their fridges in their firms and fabrics, which will use up to 40% less energy than the ones used beforehand. Yet they stick to their quality and refer to it with the slogan "just as cool, just with less energy."
Well, okay, but that was talking about tangible things such as bottles and cans and fridges. But what about written and more invisible rules that apply to parties involved? For instance, the suppliers and the bigger picture like the planet as a whole?
Well, Coca-Cola has its so-called sustainable agricultural guiding principles, which consist of things such as managing water, ensuring long-term sustainability of water resources in balance with community and ecosystem needs. Managing energy and climate protection, as I said before, the need of refrigerators and such. Managing soils and minimize the greenhouse effect. This is also referred to as the P of planet.
Can a drink help build a sustainable tomorrow? It depends on your point of view. You see, we're in the business of making and selling drinks. We want to make drinks that people love, but we want to do so in a way that takes care of the world around us by saving natural resources, cutting down on waste and reducing greenhouse gases. Of course, that means looking at our own operations, but that's just one part of the story. We have to look at the whole picture, from how we source our ingredients to what happens after a drink is enjoyed. So, we work with our suppliers to encourage them to save energy. We pioneer new packaging made from recycled plastics or even plants. In our factories, we try to only use the electricity and water we really need. We transport our products in ways that keep down carbon emissions. And we cool our drinks in fridges specially designed to save energy. This is just a taste of what we're delivering for today. Tomorrow, we want to do even more. We're committed to inspiring sustainable ways of working across every part of our business. And to keep us on the right track, we keep raising the bar higher and higher. So we've set ourselves an ambitious target. By 2020, we're aiming to cut the carbon footprint of the drink in your hand by 1/3. And that's not all. We're on our way to becoming a zero-waste business, which means we'll find ways to put every empty bottle and can to good use. That's how a refreshing drink can inspire our people, our customers, our suppliers, and our communities to work together to make things better today and help build a more sustainable tomorrow for us all. Coca-Cola Enterprises. Deliver for today, inspire for tomorrow.
Well, that sounds very thorough. What about the employees? Is there anything business-wise that Coca-Cola does to show their employees that they are valued?
While overall Coca-Cola strives for diversity and a multicultural work environment, this is also a P, but this time a P from people. They try and support their suppliers and have a strict regulation when adding new suppliers to their company, as they are an indirect reflection of Coca-Cola. Suppliers are expected to conduct businesses in an ethical manner and to comply with all applicable laws and regulations, such as the human and workplace rights, or the prohibition of child labor, forced labor, or collective bargaining. The multicultural work environment is seen in the diversity of nationalities that work for Coca-Cola. Instead of judging people by their heritage, age, gender, or sexuality, Coca-Cola looks to find talent in their employees.
Now, you mentioned all these things which sound all nice and good, such as the 3 Ps and sustainability, but what about the Killer Coke case, the lawsuits that were filed, for instance, in Colombia in 2001 and 2005 and so on? There were several murders on union leaders to crush the union itself to make sure there's no improvement to the wages or the working conditions. It is said that Coca-Cola was contracted with or directed the paramilitary security forces that utilized extreme violence and murdered, tortured, unlawfully detained, or otherwise silenced trade union leaders.
Mr. Daft, at Brandeis University, you lied like you lied earlier today about the situation in Colombia. You said that at no time was any Sinatronal union leader ever harmed by paramilitary security forces at any of your plants. Yet Isidro Gil was assassinated, murdered in one of your bottling plants in Colombia.
A los 7 días de ese asesinato de nuestro compañero, los paramilitares ingresan a la planta en una cantidad ya de 13 o 14 paramilitares, hacen una fila con todo el personal y les dicen que son las 7 de la mañana, que tienen plazo hasta las 4 de la tarde para renunciar al sindicato, que o si no pues serán asesinados, que la única forma es renunciando al sindicato para poder seguir trabajando con Coca-Cola.
All of these companies are basically making the same argument that Coca-Cola is making in our case, which is that we, Coca-Cola Company, we're an Atlanta-based company. We don't have anything to do with what happens offshore. But they're profiting from it, they're controlling it, and in all aspects it is their business. And that's our challenge, is to educate the courts and the public that corporations here are in fact responsible for everything that is done in their name to make money for them in their overseas ventures.
Yes, it is true that Coca-Cola was accused and they went to court for this matter in late March. I'm not saying that the murders didn't happen, but Coca-Cola does not own and therefore does not control the bottling plants in Colombia. Furthermore, it is also true that the judge dismissed Coca-Cola from the lawsuit on grounds that the firm does not have control of the labor practices of its bottlers.
Well, okay ladies, before this gets out of hand, we can just conclude that Coca-Cola might be behind this, but there's not enough evidence to file and complete a lawsuit against them. Well, now we will be focusing on the next expert, which is the expert on the topic of economics. And I'd like to know, the Coca-Cola Company is recognized all over the world and operates globally. Are there countries or regions that the corporation might consider further expanding to?
A potential country to invest in for Coca-Cola might be, for example, Botswana. Currently, the country shows a significant rate of economic freedom, scoring 71.1, which is close to countries like the Netherlands and Sweden. The average score for the region is 55.5, which makes Botswana far more attractive for investment. Over the past decade, the average growth rate of the country is 5% and slowing to a steadier one of 2.9% for last year. As a matter of fact, up until recently, Botswana's economy was one of the world's fastest growing economies.
Okay, but how about the economic factors such as inflation and unemployment?
Well, currently Botswana's inflation rate is 2.9% and the forecast up until 2020 suggests it will stay steady. Furthermore, the government's policy has been able to significantly reduce those rates, as in 2008 the rate was 15%. For comparison, most of its neighboring countries still suffer from high inflation. When it comes to unemployment, the rate is quite high at 20%. This is one of the issues that the country has not been able to resolve yet. Currently, the high percentage of the country's GDP comes from mining. However, the industry employs insufficient amount of workers. The efforts to fix that issue are towards diversification. That is how global companies such as Coca-Cola will have a very positive impact on Botswana's economy.
You mentioned government policies. What kind of economic policies does the country apply?
Well, ever since 1966, their independence, Botswana embraced democracy. Furthermore, it has adopted a free market economy, and for that reason, Keynesianism is rejected and the country has gone to the new classical approach. Since the 1990s, a monetary policy is used, which is implemented by its central bank independently from its government. The country has mostly rejected the fiscal policy due to its limitations in the short run and the long time for implementation.
Firstly, I want to thank all of you for being here and sharing your information with us. To conclude, Coca-Cola incorporates all factors necessary to become what they are today, from sustainability to Fordism, to business law and so on. With ups and downs, they still manage to be the biggest soft drink producer to this day. Thank you all for watching. This was NSV Late Night. See you next time.
Ik moet nog meer Coca-Cola.
Better.
I'm gonna stand here.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm going to watch this, yeah. So, first of all, I would like to know, how did you come up with the research? No, it's ideas and research. So, first of all, we're here with the INA expert. Oh no.
You can think about, for example, commissions, bonuses, vouchers for vacations, and other sorts of things.
Indeed, that seems there's many different elements that play a role in being sustainable, right?
Yes, that's true.
Coca-Cola looks to find talent in their employees, giving them the space to evolve and the chance to be their best.
Are there countries or regions that operate? Good!
Up until recently,